I live in truth, invoking Amen, the nectar of mercy, continuing on with sin, sex, and race. This is Jet Magazine of May the 21st, 1953, and Jet chronicles a lot of interracial marriages. This is the story of a Briton who marries an African princess. This was in 1952. Article of a Briton who marries an African princess. So there was intermarriage even in Africa on the Gold Coast. And this is a story not to go, this is just on a side story of Sweet Daddy Grace, who bought the tallest apartment building in New York in 1953. And that same apartment building is called El Dorado. And you have to be a millionaire to live in that building today. And Daddy Grace bought it. 1953. He also bought a lot of buildings on Riverside Drive in New York, exclusive areas. Sweet Daddy Grace. And in Sugar Hill in Harlem, where a lot of the stars used to live in Sugar Hill in Harlem. All of the stars, Lena Horne, Joe Louis, Ella, Ella Fitzgerald, a lot of them. And then they moved to St. Albans in New York. All of the movie stars used to have their own neighborhoods. Now, this is a story of a white airman who faced a death sentence for raping a Negro woman in Clearwater, Florida. This is 1953. But he faced a death sentence. It's not a picture of them, that's a picture of something else. But the story is on the left about the white airman. And he was facing a death sentence in 1953 for raping a Negro woman. And now this Meslow, Meslow, he's a clarinetist who played in there's a white guy there, Meslow, but he's divorcing a white clarinetist, jazz clarinetist in Paris, who was divorcing his his Negro wife, 1953 in Paris. In Paris, in Europe, was a lot interracial. Another story of Father Divine opened his house of worship. Father Divine opened his house of worship in Germany, where he had 200 worshipers in one of his worship places in Germany. And you know, Father Divine, they say that he was God. Okay, now, the write-up for today, again, this article from Ebony, 1962. And I'm using Ebony and Jet for these case studies of what was going on in the 50s. And the story is Miscegenation in America by Jerome Bennett. And this was a magazine, Ebony of 1962. And he wrote this: Miscegenation in America started not in the 13 original colonies, but in Africa. It started in Africa. English, French, Dutch, and American slaveholders took black concubines on the Guinea coast and mated with females on the slave ships. It should be noted that many Africans and Europeans were themselves the products of thousands of years of mixing between various African, Asian, and Caucasian peoples. And that was put the world in such of a disarray and the confusion that it's in now. Because this race mixing had been going on for thousands of years, and that is the original sin. We have to come to the understanding now that that should be no more. Because it just add to confusion. And that's why the world is confused as it is.